Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an OP GISH build guide for in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, a GISH has been around since the 1980s. This is a term for it's the Githyanki race with the fighter combined with wizard. Now, there's actually a decent synergy here, not the most perfect synergy, but I'm going to show you a pretty powerful build regardless of that, and we're playing as the Githyanki because there's actually some really nice items that we can get to complement this. So we're first going to start off with the fighter, because the fighter has a pretty good start from the game, because we do get our second win there, and we get a fighting style pretty early on, so this is really nice just to have, as defense can be great. I liked the great weapon fighting. When you roll a 1 or 2 damage die for an attack with a 2-handed melee weapon, that damage is re-rolled once, so this can just increase the overall damage that we're going to be doing. So very nice. Defense gives us +1 armor class while wearing armor, which we're going to be wearing armor obviously, so that can be really great as well, but we're going to go with something like that for our first level here. For our stat points, now this is going to depend where we're at in the game. I have the quick fire or the Gemini gauntlets on here, but what we can do is we can either dump our strength and use strength potions or the strength gauntlets, or we can keep our strength relatively high. But I think that we do want to have some intelligence, because this is going to be a major stat for us with spell casting. So what we can do is we can dump our strength, because there is a lot of strength potions, and this if this is your main character, we can go with that. I like to have constitution at 16, gives us 13 health starting off. Taking our intelligence up as high as possible and then our dex up as high as possible as well is really nice here too. So we can go with something like 17 intelligence, 16 constitution, 15 dexterity. Ideally, obviously, even numbers, because we could go up there a little bit higher, but something like that works pretty great for our stats in combat. Now, the fighter and wizard combo is pretty interesting, and that's what makes this GISH build, which the Githyanki here. We're going to get into things with the Level 2 Action Surge, very powerful. This is one of the best skills that in the entire game that you get from being a level 2 fighter, so sometimes it's even nice just to add 2 levels of fighter just for that alone. But as we get to level 3, this is where we get our next subclass, where we can choose the Eldritch Knight, which works flawlessly with this. So the Battlemaster is probably the best fighter in the game, because it does flat out more damage. We do get a nice psionics jump here. Gives us triple jump distance, which is nice. This is because we're Githyanki, and that kind of fits the theme of the build well. But for our cantrips, we get a good option of them here. I really like Shocking Grasp, because electricity damage is great. If you're the face of the party, Friends is one you always want to take. But I like Ray of Frost and Shocking Grasp, because we can have someone set up water, and then these will be dealing double damage, which is really nice to have. Bone Chill is another option you can go with. And for our level 1 spells, I think Shield's great, because this just gives us a +5 to our armor class as a reaction, and that can help us with just overall survivability. And then we can take something like Thunderwave for the pushback. Magic Missile is really good, and Chromatic Orb's nice as well. I think a Magic Missile can be just a great spell just to have. If you can't hit something, at least you have Magic Missile, which will likely hit somebody. If you're following what I mean by that, it's just more likely to open up your ability to hit people. And then we get 1 extra expanded spell out of this option, these options here. So Find Familiar is pretty decent for spreading aggro early on. They usually only last 1 hit, but that can just survive enough to take the aggro away from your team, which is always nice. I think that Ice Knife works great for the purpose of this build. Creating Water is super overpowered in Baldur's Gate 3, and then we already have Ray of Frost and Shocking Grasp for cantrips. Those can be really nice just to have for utility, so something like that works pretty great for the level 3 fighter there. And we also get our weapon bond, which will bind the weapon in our main hand. This weapon can't be knocked out of our hand and automatically returns to you when thrown, so that becomes really nice there. But there's 2 ways you can really go with the Eldritch Knight, which I'll get into. So we got ourselves another spell slot here. I like Chromatic Orb just for the choice of damage types. Electricity damage can be a nice thing to add. We also get ourselves a feat here. So there's a few good options. If we're dumping our strength and using strength potions with the 27 strength, I highly recommend Tavern Brawler, because we can just throw our weapon. When you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon or throw something, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage and attack rolls. So with this, you're likely just going to continually hit things with the throw. So we can use the strength potion, which gives us a +7 to our strength checks, or +8 to our strength checks. And we can take our constitution up 1. So you could have left constitution at 15 and dexterity at 16 and then taken this up 1. But Tavern Brawler is only if you want to use throws. If you don't want to use throws, take an ability improvement, take your intelligence up a little higher. But I think that works pretty decent because Tavern Brawler is really powerful with this build. So at level 5 we get our extra attack, and this is where the build gets a little bit stronger. And then we also get Misty Step as our race option here. So mobility is huge, and that's a really big reason for playing as a Githyanki, because you do get more mobility, which can benefit a fighter which typically doesn't have as much mobility. At level 6 we get another ability improvement, or any other type of feat that we want. I always like taking alert with the +5 to initiative. You're going to be going first, and that can be extremely powerful because we already got a +2 initiative there. Ability improvement can be really nice too, though. It just depends what you think works best for your current layout. With heavy armor master, that can give you a bit more protection and decreases the damage from non-magical by 3 when you're wearing heavy armor, so that can be really nice. Really just depends what you think works the most useful for your current build. I think that ability improvement or alert being some of the top tier picks here, so we'll go with something like that. And then for our level 7 we get ourselves war magic. So you've honed your body and magic for war. After you cast a cantrip, you can make a weapon attack as a bonus action, so that's really nice. Being able to use the gloves that I have on right now, cast 2 cantrips, and then do an extra attack on top of that, actually gets pretty strong if you got creatures in water. So you can use Ray of Frost twice, and then also hit War Magic. Hit them again. Gets pretty powerful. We get 2 more spells here, so this is nice. We get our level 2 spells, and this starts to make the build a little bit stronger. I like to have Scorching Ray for just overall damage. Mage Armor is not really the best here. Thunderwave can give a bit of extra pushback. Same with Gust of Wind, knocks creatures off balance. Darkness can be good too if you have a team built around it. Shatter damages all nearby creatures and objects. Creatures made of inorganics such as stone have disadvantage on their saving throw. So Shatter can be pretty good just for overall damage if you don't want to take Thunderwave. One of those two there. And we'll go into our next level. What's nice, you can always swap out your spells as you level up, so that's pretty nice. We also get an expanded spell here, so Hold Person being a really great one. Flaming Spear is also pretty good because you can just pop that. It will grab aggro from enemies as well. Cloud of Daggers is really nice though too. So it really depends. Hold Person can give you the utility that you may have, and you may not be using many concentrations, so Hold Person's a really good one just to keep them in place, and then you can go up close and just start beating on them. So that is really nice just for overall utility. And then we can take an ability improvement here if you want to increase your intelligence. There's a few different options that we can go with if you want, like Savage Attacker, make a melee attack, you roll your damage die twice. I think a Savage Attacker brings a lot of extra damage, so that's really good. You can also take some different spells here, which will give us, you can take Eldritch Blast from the Warlock. You can take some of the extra cantrips here. I don't really recommend just adding in a bunch of extra spells from that. It doesn't really make much sense, but Savage Attacker just gives us better damage attacks. So melee weapon attack increase, always nice. I'm always a fan though. I think ability improvement can be really nice, and we can level off our constitution and dexterity there. So we'll go with that just for better health and intelligence. So then we get Indomitable at level 9. You become as durable as an Iron Golem. Whenever you fail a saving throw, you can roll again and use the new roll. So fail a saving throw, you get a second chance. That's really nice. Simply put, it helps a lot throughout the game. At fighter level 10, we get ourselves Eldritch Strike. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, it has disadvantage on its next saving throw against a spell you cast before the end of your next turn. Pretty good. You can attack, get Eldritch Strike, and then use Hold Person, and then they're less likely to have the saving throw against it, which is actually pretty powerful. For a cantrip, Flaming Firebolt or Minor Illusion, great choices. Bone Chill can be good too, though, because it can stop creatures from attacking. Actually, Bone Chill is pretty powerful here, yeah, because it stops it from taking healing, but then it receives disadvantage on attack rolls, which means it's less likely to hit. And you can also twin this with this build, so that gets quite powerful. Also, for the spells that we can choose, something like Thunder Wave gives us a bit of utility that we might need. So I like that. Burning Hands can be a bit of fire damage. Darkness. There's a few different options here that are pretty good. And then we'll get into our next level, which is where this build kind of tapers out. We can go 7 levels of the Eldritch Knight and add a little bit of Fighter to get a little bit higher spell slots, level 3. I like level 11 though, because we get the extra attack. So multiple attacks, very powerful. And then we can add in something, I guess. Melf's acid arrow can be okay. Targets the area and heads acid damage in that area. The final level of the fighter does give us a feat, but I think that what's nice about this is going into wizard, because then we can scribe some spells. So for our cantrips, we can take Mage Hand. Actually has a lot of utility, and also Minor Illusion for grouping enemies together. Minor Illusion works great outside of combat. It's a cantrip, so it doesn't use any spell slots. For our wizard spells, we can take, like, Grease is not bad to have for crowd control, same as Fog Cloud. Mage Armor we don't need. Sleep can be good crowd control as well. False Life can give a bit extra health. Find Familiar for that extra one hit it'll tank for your team. And then Long Strider's pretty nice too, but we get it from the Gith. So maybe Color Spray instead. So that's going to be what we're going with. And then for our prepared spells, something like that looks pretty good. And we can also add in spells outside of that. So as we get into the build here, now we have a nice solid 22 armor class. We had this Sword of the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane, which gives us extra Githyanki damage. So that gets quite nice with how much damage we can get going. And I want to see if I have the strength potions right now on this guide, because what you can do is you pop the strength potions. If not, you're going to take, obviously, we want to have this Gauntlets of Hill Giant strength, because that'll give us 27 damage there with our attacks. And then you can use our bonded weapon here. So that allows us to throw it, which is pretty crazy. So that's our bound weapon now. I like the Helldusk helmet for the sight in darkness, which is nice. Can't get critical hits against you, and +2 to bonus saving throws against spells. +1 armor class, +1 saving throw. Cloak of Protection is nice. Helldusk armor, very late game armor, but really the best heavy armor that you got is going to work great because you can wear it. And then I also like the Gauntlets of Hill Giant strength, but also, as I mentioned, we can use the Gemini gloves, which gives us cantrips targeting a foe, and allies can target an additional creature. It's the same target can be chosen twice. So that allows us to target twice with our cantrips and then attack again with a spell. So ideally we would have the potions. I don't think I have them on this particular playthrough of the game, but Gemini gauntlets are really nice. And then I have the boots of psionic movement for the Gith flight, so this allows you to fly, really nice for Gith. And then I have the sort of silver sword of the astral plane, which I stumbled on last time. Amulet of Ball gives us nice bleed on attack, but we can also go with a constitution necklace if you want. But really, there's a lot of different nice necklaces that can synergize with this build. Killer Sweetheart gives us a critical hit on our attacks, which is huge. And then Ring of Regeneration just gives us 1d4 of healing every turn. So ideally, what we would be doing is we can go with a Adroit Caster, so then we can go with that, and then we can cast Dual Ray of Frost, which is really nice. Deals a lot of damage, especially if there's water. And then we can attack after it, which is huge. What's also nice is we can go with Throw, and then we can throw our weapon, and it'll return, which is really nice. So see there, the weapon came back to us, and then we can throw it again, and he thinks we're throwing his balls, so that's pretty funny. The throw range is pretty crazy, so you can really do a lot of damage with that. And what's nice about that is it gives you range alongside of your physical attacks, so it's pretty good. I think that throwing your weapons with Tavern Brawler, especially with the strength potions, having that plus the 27 strength from the Greater Hill Giant potions is really powerful. So yeah, that's a GISH build guide for Baldur's Gate 3. It's pretty strong. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below, and I'll see you in the next video.